Did you know Crystal Gayle is the sister of the Queen of Country, Loretta Lynn? Today, the legendary Miss Gayle tells me how she escaped the shadow of her sister, remade herself, and discovered her own sound. This very special Arroyo Grande could make my brown eyes blue. Come on. I'm Raymond Arroyo. Welcome to Arroyo Grande. Go subscribe to the show now. Turn those notifications on so you know what's coming. And if you'd like to support the show or come with us to Greece next year, visit RaymondArroyo.com. Crystal Gayle is a Billboard chart-topping artist who's responsible for a string of hits that have won her Grammys, numerous Academy of Country Music Awards, American Music Awards. And after being inspired by her sister, Loretta Lynn, to pursue music, the story of how she found her sound and broke down barriers as one of the first crossover artists of her generation needed to be heard. Before Taylor Swift and Shania Twain, it was Crystal Gayle who crossed over from country into pop and made a path for those ladies. Along the way, she touched millions around the world. I just loved spending time with the great Crystal Gayle. Watch. You really come from this incredible musical family. And I mean, people know your sister Loretta Lynn. The whole family was musical, though.
Our whole family. You know, my mother and my dad, I mean, they were musical. Right. My mother, she'd play the banjo, and then she'd sing Pretty Polly, Pretty Polly. And, you know, in Kentucky, where I was born, we moved when I was about 4.
To Butcher Holler.
Butcher Holler. Well, see, Butcher Holler, I was the only one born in a hospital. That was in Paintsville. Mm. So, but we moved when I was about 4 and to Wabash, Indiana. So that's why my background, my musical sound is different than my sister's.
I was going to ask you that. How did living in Indiana shape your sound? Because Loretta has a very different, I mean, that's deep in the holler. And then you've got Crystal Gayle, which is a very smooth, crossover, metropolitan, sophisticated sound with a country warmth underneath it.
It just happened. I think growing up in Indiana, you know, I had the Kentucky accent. And then I moved to Indiana where, you know, we sound a little different than everybody there. So you try to adapt. You don't want to stand out too much. Yeah. No, I know my brothers and sisters did because I was too young to have the problem.
That's right. You're the baby of the clan.
I'm the baby. And, you know, you adapt to it. So when we moved to, after, you know, I got married. We lived in Bloomington, Indiana. My husband went to IU there.
Did you meet in high school?
Yes.
Incredible.
In high school.
I want to talk about your marriage later, but okay, go on.
And then we moved to Nashville. So my dialect was, you know, Kentucky, Indiana, and here in Tennessee. Yeah. So I didn't know how to say anything.
You were a gumbo.
It definitely was. And, you know, when I worked with Allen Reynolds, sometimes he'd say, you know, you're not saying that word right. And I'd bring the dictionary in. Yes, I am.
Here's the quotation marks are perfect to stop it. I was surprised to learn that you were shy as a kid.
I was very shy.
And your mother did what to sort of...
My mother made me sing for anybody that walked in the house. I mean, I hid, and she'd find me. And, you know, I think it was trying to get me out of the show. You know, my father died when I was 8. Yeah. So I did go into this little shell that, quiet. My sister, Loretta, she had a dream, and she dreamed that Dad died when he died. And she said she was wringing her hands when she got to Kentucky, because we took, he died in Indiana, and we went back to Kentucky. I was the one wringing my hands, and she had seen it.
Oh my gosh!
And you know, I just went inside. You know, my mother had to she did take me to a doctor, to because I was.
She was worried you were too withdrawn.
Yeah, and he told me to quit, and I did.
Just stop doing that.
He was an older doctor. And the way he said it was just like, I've got to listen to him.
Did the singing become a habit? Because I know your brothers are playing guitar. You have another sister who sings.
Peggy Sue, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, the whole clan is a musical family.
Well, you know, in Kentucky, the porch was where everybody went to have fun. You'd play the guitar, whatever instrument, and just you could hear the neighbor across the other holler. And but then when we went to Indiana, it was in the living room. But you know, music was of our form of entertainment. It wasn't. We didn't have the video games. We didn't have all those things that you know we have now. So it was a part of us.
Well, and it came out of family.
Yes.
And it was a communal activity, which I would argue, we've lost in today's culture. That communal, where multi-generations come together around an event or a moment, Crystal, that's almost gone.
It is.
I mean, your music, I mean, there's music that people gather around, and basically it's that and sporting events. But local community activities like this or family, it's very rare.
I loved, you know, in Indiana where we grew up, and we'd have the small little carnival or where everybody came, you know. It was just, I loved the small towns. You know, that's when people get together and really, you know, they make it.
One of the things I love about country music is, like jazz, it came up from the local people and the sharing of those sounds and beats and rhythms and nationalities. It kind of all blended, and you learned from neighbors and from friends and from parents. What did you pick up from your immediate family that you see in your work even today?
Well, I think a lot of love. You know, that you were there and everybody would sing, and just that family life. And I always thought everybody had a wonderful family like I did. You know, and then you finally you grow up and you realize, well, not really. You know? And I was very lucky to have really good parents and brothers and sisters. You know, and Loretta would never let me forget I was the baby. I mean, if she was here right now, I'm still the baby.
The baby. Yeah. Well, you did emulate her at the beginning. I mean, how could you not? I mean, she's taking off. You're still a young kid. I know in the early days, did you tour? You toured with her for a little bit, or went on the road with her sometime?
When I was in high school and junior high, she'd let me come out and sing a little bit. But when I started in the beginning, she took me out on the road, and it really didn't last long because of, you know, her and Mooney. They were trying to, okay, she's got to stand here. She's got to stand. I thought I was causing them problems. I didn't realize that's how they were normal. So I said, I've got to go home. You know, I don't want to cause them.
Because they were bickering over where you should go, when you should come out.
I thought I was causing them, you know, problems. So.
So that was.
So I went on my own after that. You know, started.
But in your early days, I mean, you get a recording contract very early with Decca.
Yes.
How old are you? 16.
Yeah, somewhere in there, and I got to do demos and go in the studio and you know, learn a little bit. And I was working actually with the Wilburn Brothers. They had Surefire Music, so they'd let me do their demos, and it was so much fun. And then when Owen Bradley said, who was the head of Decca, when you graduate, we'll release a single, and he did.
Wow.
Which was, I cried the blue right out of my eyes.
Another I song. It was
I don't know what it is.
It was a vision of something to come. You were emulating, and I mean, I guess it's natural. I mean, you talked about the love in your family. You would naturally emulate or try to shape your music based on this successful sister you had.
Yes.
And you did early on.
Oh, definitely. I knew all her songs, I inside out and backwards. You know, it was just, I loved her music, and she was so wonderful on
songs,
stage.
Right? I mean, she wrote songs.
She wrote the song, Mama, It's Different This Time, Sparkling Look of Love. And as we're going down the road in the bus, you know, I'm watching her, and she says, you got to sing it like this. You know?
Well, she was giving you orders on intonation and tone.
Everything.
She was a very kind of straightaway lady. I mean, I never met her.
You got to do it like this. Oh, yeah, when we're rehearsing later on, and we were doing some shows, she said, quit singing it pretty. I said, I'm not singing it pretty.
Well, and that's your style. Why wouldn't you sing it pretty? She was something else. But she gave you some, I mean, early on, the country thing just really, that straight ahead country. And I've heard those recordings. They're beautiful recordings, even when you listen to them now. But for whatever reason, they didn't click. Why not?
You know, with music, you never know what's going to be a hit. And, you know, I actually, early on, you know, I was watching my sister. She'd go out, she'd have hit after hit. And I thought, oh, this sounds easy. I'm just going to go in the studio and record, and I'm going to have a hit after hit.
Yeah, just like
but no, it doesn't happen like that. And it just, it has to work together. I was actually on the wrong label. I was on Decca, which turned into MCA, but I was only on there because of being her sister. So when the contract was over, and Owen, he gave me my ultimatums, and I chose to, I was going to go home for a while. And Lynn Schultz, who was with United Artists, he asked me, he said, what label are you on? I said, well, I'm not on any. And he said, what? He said, well, you come over Monday and talk to me.
Wow.
And I signed with UA. And
but before you left Decca, they took your name. Gayle.
Oh,
Brenda Gayle.
Brenda Gayle,
took your name.
They took my name because of Brenda Lee.
Because she was on Decca.
Yes, she was on Decca.
Wow.
So.
Did you ever hesitate and go, I don't want to trade my name in?
There were times that I thought, you know, I'd like to, you know, get me back.
Yeah.
And I started to, and then I thought, you know, this is me now. And people know me, my music. And you know, as Loretta said, the name is bright and shiny. And she said, that's what you are.
Did she come up with the name?
She came up with Crystal, yes.
Why? Where did it come from?
Well, where it really first came from was the Crystal hamburgers. And then later in life, she said it was because of a chandelier. So.
Oh, because you were shy, and because you were shiny and sparkling. So she started cleaning the story up as time went on.
A little bit.
But it was really, she was hungry.
I loved the Crystal hamburgers.
They were good. They were good in their day. So you just stuck with Crystal after that.
Yes.
And Gayle was always your middle name.
Middle
so
name,
you
yes.
kept Gayle.
We did change the spelling. My real spelling is Gail. And so Loretta thought, since the Y in Crystal, let's put the Y in Gayle.
There you go. And,
so, and it's, you know.
And ever it has been. And tell me about Allen Reynolds, who you meet at United Artists.
Yes.
Tell me how he shaped and brought out and helped you find your unique sound.
Well, Allen Reynolds was someone I'd never thought I'd find in Nashville. He actually wanted to know what I thought about the music and not just say, this is what you're going to record. And you know, he'd always said, you know, if you don't like the song, I mean, you're going to be singing it, so you better like it.
Wow, that's wise.
So we'd listen to all these songs, and we'd go in the studio, and he had his own studio, Jack's Tracks, and which is called Allentown now because Garth Brooks owns it.
Oh, wow.
And he let me go in and sing a song. He said, sing the song all different ways so you can see and hear your voice the way that you like it the best. So we'd listen back, and so he let me work on my sound.
You were kind of a belter at the beginning.
Yes.
Which, for those who don't know, that's a Ethel Merman. You hit the big.
Everything was belting, yes.
But that's not the Crystal Gayle sound at all.
No, it's not.
So what happened?
Well, just getting the special songs that would lean to not belt. And let me go back a little bit with my sister Loretta. She told me to quit singing her songs. She said, don't sing or record anything that I would. She said, you will only be compared. And I really think that's why I had the success, because people didn't, I'd find people that didn't know we were related. Or some would say, you can't be her sister, you don't sound like her. But they didn't realize, you know, there's about 19 years in between. So that...
Yeah. Were you at all, you had to be a little confused when she said that. I mean, that's a hard thing to say. You know, don't use my sound as a model, and don't do anything I would do. That had to kind of rock your world a little bit at the beginning.
I realized that it did, you know, because I wanted to sing the songs. You know,
Sure.
I do the shows. I wanted to sing her songs instead of someone else's. But she said, don't. She said, you just, you need to go MOR, easy listening. She said, you go that route. And that's why my music is so different.
M-O-R, middle of the road.
Middle of the road, M-O-R.
Why do they call it M-O-R?
I don't know.
Wow.
Middle of the road.
Well, I never would think of you. I don't think of you as middle of the road. You have your own. I went and read reviews, early reviews of your work, and even contemporary reviews. There are words that pop out. Well, sultry, assertive, molasses toned with a sweet edge. I mean, the descriptions of you are, they are unique. You really did carve your own brand of music, certainly country influenced, but it was something new.
It was, going in the studio like with Allen.
Yeah.
And working on the songs. Like he actually found Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue.
Yeah. Oh, tell me that story, because it almost didn't happen.
No, it didn't. It was a song that Richard Lee, great writer, he wrote my first #1, I'll Get Over You.
I'll Get Over You. Wow.
And if I can go back a little, I first met Richard when we were getting ready to move to Nashville. I was working in Bristol, Tennessee at a telethon, and he was too. And that was our first encounter. And he was heading to Nashville, to make it as he's a great singer. I mean, great singer. Oh, yeah. Huh. As well as writer. Yeah. But I just remember doing that show. And after I got off my show, I was trying to do those eyelashes. One popped off right when I was done.
Oh, no.
I was mortified. But then when he came to town, and he hooked up with people that I knew, and then I'll Get Over You, and then he was actually sending Brown Eyes out to California for a couple people to hear. And Allen said, "Well, play it for me," and he's. At the end of it, he said, "You're not sending that anywhere." So we almost lost that song.
Really?
And I loved it so much. It was the first take in the studio.
Yeah,
what
tell
went down.
people about that. I mean, this is extraordinary. They do scratch takes. Explain to people what a scratch take is, because this is just kind of a rough, right?
Well, you go in, the machine goes on, and you record. This was what you hear is what went down on that first take. I did try to re-sing it. It just did not work. We'd only put strings on it, and that's what went down. It was a performance with everyone. With, Pig Robin, who played the piano on that. Yeah. I mean, I think he set the mood for everybody. And we were somewhere in some little bar somewhere singing and playing, and it just.
That's what I was going to ask you. What did you see when you first sang that song here? Because you've said you're a little bit like an actor, which I hear every time you sing.
Sometimes I think of, and I'm going to say Billie Holiday when I'm singing, because I loved her voice, and and not trying to sing like her, because I can't, but it's just, I just feel like I was there with her singing. So it's, when you sing, or when I sing, and when everything's going right on a concert, it's really...
It's like flying.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And then there's some times when you're not feeling good and you still have to go out there and perform. Mm-hmm. I've had some of the worst headaches and gone on stage, and it's just...
And raising children and feeding children.
Oh, yeah, a little of everything.
Which is its own... I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. But tell me, I want to get back to Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue. There is such a spirit in that song. And I guess it's why people love to hear it, and it's become... your theme song in many ways.
Yes, it is.
Because it does set a mood. I mean, the moment you hear it, the beginning of that song, you kind of sink into it, and you can't leave it.
It says so much and so little, is what I feel. I mean, it does. It says everything in those words, and it's a part of me, because I'm one. I don't say a lot. But I'd rather it short and sweet and to the point. And I feel that song puts everything out there, right? I don't know. It was what I just loved it when I heard it, and I wanted it to be my first single off of that album, which is titled "We Must Believe in Magic."
Yeah, Must Believe in Magic.
And I had to talk fast because they wanted up tempo. That's what they always, you lead with an up-tempo. And I think they probably were happy that they did.
Yeah, I'll bet. Well, that was even in parentheses later. What was the next album? There was a next album, and they released it, and it said, including Don't It Make Your Brown Eyes Blue.
They must have done the hits.
Yeah, they slipped that in.
They slipped it.
Why do you think it clicked with the public? I mean, this was #1 hot country, #2 on the Hot 100, and it remains a perennial classic. I mean...
Well, on Billboard, it was, but on Cashbox, it was #1 in the pop. Yeah. Wow. So I feel like I like that.
Well, you're the first crossover. Let's face it. You were the first crossover artist, Crystal.
It was a song, I think, that it sounded so different, and it opened doors for people to listen to country music, and for my music to be played in other styles of music. Like when I would go to overseas, hearing my music come out of shops. I love that, hearing my songs.
Yeah, why not? It holds up. It still holds up. There's something magical about that song. And I've heard you sing it live a number of times. It's still magical. Here's the question. How do you preserve this voice? Do you do anything special? Do you do scales? Do you do...
Every now and then I will. I probably don't take care of it as much as I should. It's just something that... I don't know. I do vocalizing. Yeah. I do sing. As Lee Greenwood, we traveled together quite a bit and done a lot of dates together through the years. And he'd say, try singing other songs you wouldn't normally sing for vocalizing, which I do that a lot too. And just little things help.
Did you ever take lessons?
No, not.
No.
Maybe I should have.
No, it didn't hurt you. Don't you worry. I was friends and interviewed Keely Smith a number of times. You remember Keely Smith?
Yes.
There is a pure quality and an honesty and an authenticity in her voice that I hear in yours. It's a sweetness, and it's not manufactured, if you know what I mean. It's authentic. And to preserve that over a long period of time, which Keely did as well, it is a natural gift. Do you feel that it's a gift?
I feel it's a gift to have a voice I can sing, that I can sing. If it was I love singing, and God gave me a gift of music, and I've recorded wonderful songs to Him. I have several
gospel
albums that I love, and my mother would say that. She read the Bible inside several times, and it was just her wanting to pull out my gifts, and she did. She was a nurse. Wow. And she actually took a mail order nursing course because she worked at a nursing home.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have been a doctor, or she could have been but being from the hills and didn't have the opportunity. Yeah. But she did the course, and I mean, she was healing things that the doctors was coming and saying, "Okay, how did you do this?" And we call her the healer.
Yeah, she had that. I mean, there is a Loretta. When you mentioned Loretta having a dream about your father's death, Loretta also had this kind of supernatural sensibility.
Yes.
Did you see that? And do you see it in your own life?
Oh, definitely. In my life and my mom's. And it was just, I think it came from the hills. Yeah. When first time I went to Ireland, I saw Kentucky. Huh. I felt Kentucky. I felt, we have Irish blood in there, Scottish, we have parts of everywhere, really, but I felt at home over there. Huh. It felt like my people in the sense of, and
rooted. They're rooted in the earth.
It was rooted, and that's who came over and settled into those areas of the Appalachian, the Virginia, and they moved in and brought the folklore, the music. Yeah. My mother would sing those folk songs, those hill songs, and I loved it. I've still got her on tape singing.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. You see, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's your mother's influence, not only reached you, but reached your sister Loretta. And as we talked about before we started, you were the only two siblings that I can find who had number one hits, huge acclaim in the same area of music in American life. I don't see two other siblings that have had that kind of success.
We were lucky.
Well,
I was lucky.
But there's something in the blood.
It's something in the blood. It's something that my sister was very, very smart in the business. That's why she said, don't do anything I would. And she knew that I would not be listened to. She would only be compared, she'd say. Was
there a rivalry between you two? There were a lot of those articles.
A lot of articles. I mean, we'd look at each other and, you know, sort of laugh. And she says, well, as long as I spell your name right.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I dug through some of those old articles, and a lot of them will go back in the day, like People magazine, so you don't know how much credibility this has. You know, where I didn't go to her house for 7 years, I haven't stepped foot. Was any of that true?
You know, none. I mean, they take one little thing and they build something with it. You know, we were both busy on the road. And half the time they would be doing all these articles, and it was like, we hadn't seen each other for a little bit. We hadn't even talked because we were out and about to cause the problems.
Right.
I mean, hey, we were sisters.
Yeah, sisters.
You know, sisters, we get together, we laugh, we have fun. We could argue if we wanted to, but that was okay.
Mm-hmm. That's the nature of a sister and a sibling.
That's the nature of sisters.
Do you ever stand back and look at Shania Twain and Taylor Swift and realize that you really were the original groundbreaker here that crossed over from country into pop and bridged those worlds and opened the doors for those women?
I feel like that my music did open a lot of doors, and also look at Olivia Newton-John. She came from pop into country.
That's right.
She won Female Vocalist one year, and I know there was this like, what happened?
Scandalous.
Oh yes. And you'd sort of just laugh. I mean, hey, she had a huge song, and it was #1 in country, and so you know. But her music came into country, and Kenny Rogers. I mean, he also opened the doors.
That's right.
I mean, we would also be compared, Kenny and I, and they'd call our music slick music in articles.
Music.
Yes, because we weren't just that country.
You weren't hollering in the holler.
We weren't hollering. We could.
I know, but you did make. There is a sound. And I've always appreciated it because if you look at all the women around you, a lot of women recording at the same time, they were belters. They were kind of big voice, you know. You had your smooth lane that you just kept riding. You found your sound and you really never abandoned it.
But sometimes within my albums or certain songs, like there were some songs that belted, but maybe it didn't sound it like half the way. You know, they may have, you know, all these songs that did have a range to it, but maybe because I have this softness in the lower part.
And sweetness in the high end. There's a sweetness in the high end of your voice that's, you know, that you maintain today.
Oh, my head's getting bigger.
No, it's all true. I'm not telling you anything. They know. Go listen to the albums. Even the most recent ones, you'll hear it. Nothing's changed. Tell me about the long hair, which I remember watching on the Muppet Show, and I remember seeing you on television, and I still see you, and the hair is still long flowing locks. Why keep the hair?
I don't know, other than I had a jacket on, and I put my hair in my jacket once, and it was coming out. It looked like I had, you know, rolled it under, and my mother said, "You cut your hair." I thought she was going to have a heart attack, and that always stuck with me. And also when my kids were little, and I was really contemplating cutting then, and they said, "Mom, you won't be Crystal Gayle." And I thought, you know, well, so it's hard to get rid of something that's been with you. As long as it has been, and I know I'm sure people joke at it and do this and that all through the years, but that's a nature of people.
It's your trademark, and it's how people know you, and I agree. I think there's somewhere I read you said it's like a child.
It is. It has taken a lot of care through the years. Yeah, I could not fix hair, so it was easy to wash it and let it dry, and I was ready for stage.
And leave it.
Yeah, because I couldn't afford a hairdresser. I mean, Loretta, she'd tell me, cut it, rat it up, do all that, and I couldn't do that.
Wow.
So I saved some money,
Indeed, indeed. But it's iconic. I mean, it's become iconic. So I'm not one of those people who think you should cut it. Leave it. It looks exactly like Crystal Gayle. Your kids are right.
And I love being able to do Sesame Street and the Muppet Show, with the little kids around. And I was in New York, and I actually had my hair up at that time. And this little girl in a carriage, and she looked up and said, "Mommy, Mommy," and she knew me.
Oh,
She said, she's letting her know it was she had seen me on Sesame Street. Yes, when I sang with Big Bird.
I love it. I mean, you've had what an incredible career. You toured with Bob Hope.
Yes, and
I knew Bob and Dolores so well. They were great people. But tell me about touring with him.
I got to do some concerts, but I got to go to China.
Historic moment.
Yes, very historic. It was just incredible. So many things. I mean, you could write the book about China. Yeah. And it was just an incredible trip. But he was an incredible person. Yeah. When we landed in, we were in Beijing, and when we landed there, and got to the hotel, he calls, and it was late at night to welcome us to the hotel and being on, and it was just so sweet. And just Dolores, I got to go shopping with her, and I thought I could shop.
Oh no, Dolores was.
She was great.
Yeah, nobody liked Dolores Hope. She could shop, and she was another organizer. She ran the whole show. What did you learn from Bob Hope? Did you learn anything as a performer from him? Working with him?
He actually, we did some jokes together. So he showed me how to do timing, and that helped too, because when my sister Peggy Sue would travel with me, she's the jokester. So we'd do. Sometimes she'd have to nudge me a little bit and say, "It's your line,
your turn,
it's your turn." But she's great.
Wow. How did One from the Heart originate? This is the Tom Waits Coppola project,
yes.
Francis Ford Coppola's film. You did the soundtrack to that. With Tom Waits, of all people, how did that happen?
Tom he took the train from, I think, New York to L.A. He didn't like to fly. I'm not sure if he still takes the train, but he heard me singing a song called Cry Me a River. It was on the train, the music they were playing, and they called and said, "Hey, he would like you to meet to do this album."
Wow.
And that was really what inspired him to want that. And so we go out, and working with Tom was just incredible. I mean, I love his writing. I got early on in, when Bill was in law school here, we got to see him at Exit In. And I didn't know him. I couldn't go up and say, "Hey,
yeah, hey, how are you doing, Tom?"
But
you were familiar with his work.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Wow. And he would write in the evening, and then he'd bring it into the studio, and I would learn the song, and we would record it.
Wait a minute, he didn't give it to you ahead of time? I mean, you didn't have...
No, this was just, he would write, and it was just so musical. I mean, he'd play the piano, and if I sang it wrong to him, he'd tell me what the melody, but maybe I changed something, who knows, and he didn't care. Wow. But it would just... It all worked.
Yeah, it's a beautiful blending. And you wouldn't think, I frankly, when you listen to these two voices apart, you're like, Crystal Gayle, Tom Waits. One of these things is not like the other, to steal something from Sesame Street. But it gelled beautiful. I mean, you kind of completed each other in some ways.
We were so different.
Yeah.
That I think that's what it blended. He was gruff in the certain songs that we'd do, and then I'd come in with more of that smooth sound. And
smooth like off the rough edges.
Yeah.
There are a lot of rough edges. Anyway, how and why, Crystal, do you still tour? It's hard out there.
It is very hard. It can be. You try to make it. When you look at the paper, okay, it's this far, there, here, and there, and you think, okay, that'll be okay. But sometimes those are hard, can be hard.
Yeah.
But and when you do the shows and you see the wonderful friends that you've made through the years that are coming, and I have. I've made a lot of friends, good friends.
I love how you refer to your fans as friends, because I think they feel that with you.
Well,
I've
they
seen
are.
that.
They're wonderful friends, and from all walks of life. I've lost a bunch of wonderful friends through the years that I think of all the time when I go back and I'll be at a place or their family's coming. It's but they are. That's what really the heart and soul of country music is: family. It's friendship. It's you hear a lot of the drinking songs or the beers and all that, but it's not. It's still it's warmth.
It's family.
It's love. It's all that mixed together, and that's the time I grew up in it.
Yeah.
I loved the fairs. I loved the little carnivals. I loved the little outdoor venues that you would go and people bring their picnics.
Do you still think people are craving that togetherness, that family spirit, if you will?
Yes. Now the shows are so big and they're in the stadiums. They go to them, but that's a new generation. Mm-hmm. They've missed this other where it's, you in between shows, because you maybe do 2 shows on the same day, you'd go and picnic with them. They'd bring enough fried chicken.
Or they come see you backstage or bring you things.
Yes. It was just...
There's an intimacy there.
Yes.
And you've got great, you're at the Waco Hippodrome. You're in Arlington, Texas. You're all over Texas. You're all over Florida.
Texas is a world of its own, and I love Texas.
And I'm sure the audience there is very forward.
Oh, yes.
They're not a retiring audience in Texas, which I always like. How do you get, every time I listen to your songs, and I usually put them on the surround sound so you can really hear them, you get under a lyric, inside a lyric, in a way that, we were talking about Keely Smith. Keely Smith got very angry. She said, a lot of these people she was talking about, he's dead now, I can say it. She said, Tony Bennett, I don't know why he's still recording. I said, why would you say that? People love him. And she said, he's singing along and his voice is raw. He shouldn't do that anymore. You get inside a lyric every time you sing. How do you do that? How do you approach a song?
When I, through the years for recording, the melody would have to appeal to me first. And then I'd listen to the lyrics really close to see if it's something that I could say and want to put across. And I think in your delivery of when you're singing a song, like, don't know when, I've been so blue. You're into those lyrics. It's not just, don't know when I've been so blue. Right. You don't singing just along. Sing. Yeah, you're singing the words. Mm-hmm. You're making them musical, and not just. How
do you prepare? Sinatra used to recite it like a play. He would write the lyrics out and walk around reciting it like a play, which a comedian who worked with me told me recently, Tom Dreesen.
Some people do that for vocalizing too. You would say the words.
Just say the words and don't sing.
Yeah, like, don't know when, been so. You would do it that way, so maybe that was his form of vocalizing as well. Mm. But also, it's a form of learning the song too.
Yeah.
Of the lyrics, because a lot of songs are more involved in verse after verse after verse.
Yeah, they get tricky.
Yes,
they get tricky.
They can.
You have sung, in addition to your very romantic songs, some of your songs, these are songs about drinking and hard living and, dumping the guy. And the truth about Crystal Gayle is you've been married to the same guy you met in high school.
Yes.
Tell me first of all, how did you and Bill meet? And how do you maintain a relationship in music all of this time?
Well, there's give and take. Definitely you have to overlook a lot. There can be, I have, as you said, Irish blood, but also Indian blood. So, you mix those two. And
I'm married to one of those, I know.
It really just works. With children, when a girl and boy, Chris and Catherine. Chris actually does a lot of producing, songwriting, does a lot of things here in Nashville, and doing great with it. Yeah. And when they were little, Bill stayed home and didn't tour with me if it was going to be long, because we wanted them to have a home life,
stability.
Yes, and not just get on a bus and go.
Right.
And But to work on a relationship, I mean, hey, I mean, there's days we probably want to kill each other or have been through the years.
It's the nature of relationships,
Yes,
right?
It is, but you know, you have to.
You commit to the long ride. Yeah. You commit to the long ride. But it is interesting, though. That's been your life.
Yes.
And yet you're singing these songs for women who lived a very different life, and even popularized that. Do you feel any of that duality when you're performing those songs?
Well, like I said, with singing, you are acting.
Right.
And it's not saying this is, I think people, they get into songs. They might not be their life, but it can be the melody. It could be a few words. It could be maybe a phrase that you said.
Or somebody you know who went through that.
Yes. And I got so many fan letters through the years telling me that my music helped them through a dark part of their life, whether it was a breakup, maybe a home life that wasn't as good as it could have been, and they'd say they would lock themselves away into my music, and it helped them get through. And that, to me, was more important than getting an award.
And Crystal, what do you think they're reacting to when they write that and have that reaction?
I think that they want me to know that I have been a part of their life, and they're a part of my life, because I've kept a lot of those letters.
I'll bet. Tell me what it was like working with Dean Martin.
Oh, he was so great. Dean Martin. I mean, I loved it. I got to do his TV shows, and then there's a
He loved you too. I just watched those clips. It was mutual.
We would eat at a restaurant that he loved, La Famiglia, I think it was called in L.A.
Yeah.
I love this. Not there anymore, but I mean, it was so incredible. But every time we'd go there, he'd be there. You know, just so we would visit with him a little bit then.
The one time I met him, that's where it was, in that restaurant. Yeah, he would sit in the booth there.
He had his place. That was
his little booth.
That was his.
Somebody told me that, and they said, when you go, make sure you go to La Familia. He'll be at the booth at 7 o'clock, and darn it, 7 o'clock, he walked in, and there he was, right up until he died. That was
in his place.
So you were in touch with him for years. I mean, you stayed in touch.
You know, as well as you can, you know, and of course, you know, I've been able to know his family too, and his, it's just, when I look at all the wonderful people, like, as you said, Dean Martin, I mean, that was just a highlight to be able to work with him.
When stars were stars.
Stars were stars. And, you know, I got to meet Elizabeth Taylor. She was a star. I mean.
How did you meet her?
We were doing the inauguration gala, and it was at the end of the show, and I immediately went right to her. And she could not have been more gracious. You know, some would have just pushed you off, which I've had those.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was Elizabeth Taylor, what I knew. And the other artist was Katharine Hepburn.
Really?
And I got to meet her. It was a night of 100 stars.
Oh, yeah.
And I had gone to the bathroom, came back, and the girl that was taking me around, she said, "Where have you been?" And she said, "Katharine Hepburn wants to meet the girl with the long hair." So I was so happy I had long hair.
You see that long hair? That long hair works every time. Tell me about, you mentioned earlier your gospel albums. And this is in the 90s. You recorded a pair of them, right?
Yes.
It was two. He's Beautiful, and the other one is Someday. Tell me about,
I love that song.
Why those songs, and why gospel?
Well, it's a part of my life. And actually at that time, I wanted people to know that part of my life and know that who I am. Being a Christian, when I grew up, I mean, being a Christian doesn't mean you have to go to church every Sunday or do all the, it's the way you live your life. And, but putting those songs out, I wanted them to hear, and I love them. I mean,
they're beautiful songs.
You know, one album is filled with new songs, and then the other one is the songs I sing in church.
Yeah,
still sing in church.
Yeah,
and love them. And you know, it's great to have people around you that love the music the gospel music, and that sing themselves.
Well, this used to be a feature in Nashville.
Yes.
Every major artist, because they did come from the same family, faith, ethos that you talked about, there was Elvis recorded some of the best recordings he ever did are those beautiful gospel albums. Your sister, I mean, I could go down, Reba, there was always that faithful expression through the music. Are you worried that we're losing that?
We definitely have lost quite a bit out in the world. You know, the morality is different. The things that I see online that I would have never seen, TV shows or whatever's out there. I mean, I'm like, okay.
Turn that off, put the gospel back on.
Well, you know, I just think it would be nice if we had a little bit more, thought a little bit more of ourselves.
Yeah.
In what we do things. And, but I guess we don't.
What about musically? I mean, when you look back at when you came to Nashville and now, you think what?
Well, definitely it's a little different.
You're being so diplomatic, Crystal.
You know, I look at it that, you know, I would never been able to, I personally would not have worn some of the things that people wear on stage now, just because of that's not who I am. But I mean, some things are very beautiful, but, you know, I think, you know, they need to stay where they should be in the type of shows they are. But
keeping your clothing on is a nice prerequisite. Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't have to have number ones for that way. So.
That's right. You earned them. You earned them with your vocal cords, not with other things. But has the music? It's gotten a lot more corporate. It seems to me.
You know, to me, I do not know how a song makes it anymore. Is it streaming? Is it radio? I don't know, because it's just so. People have hits, and I've never heard the song, and they're selling out stadiums, and I'm like, I'm missing something somewhere. I guess if I was online all the time, I would know them.
Yeah.
But it's hard to be online, and for me it is.
Yeah, because you're encountering all the other stuff.
Well, you know, you have to take a break. I mean, you can get online, and before you realize it, it's been 2 hours. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. I could have been doing something else.
Exactly.
And it's not that I don't want to be on and see and read, and I do, and I answer stuff for people, but I feel like you have to take a break from that.
Yeah. I love an album you did with your son, who I met earlier, and it's Crystal Gayle sings the heart and soul of Hoagy Carmichael, whom you knew. Tell me about Hoagy Carmichael.
Hoagy Carmichael. I was so excited I got to meet him and sang with him. Oh, yes. I was so nervous.
How old were you when you met him?
Oh gosh. No,
was it your special?
No, it was a country music special.
Ah.
And they sent me to California, where he lived, and we did the songs together. It was a medley of his songs that he had written. Yeah. And he wasn't in really good health at that time, and so he was in pain. And but when that camera came on, you could not. I mean, he was a showman. Yeah. I mean, he was so great.
Wow.
And I knew right then I wanted to do an album of his music.
Really?
Because he was from Indiana, Bloomington.
That's right.
And so there was that connection. Huh. But you know, those songs are, you know, you sing a song of his, the
Skylark. Your Skylark is so beautiful.
Have you anything to say to me? I mean, they're just
gorgeous.
The lyrics and the music. Now, Stardust, I did that, and that song he had written as just piano. I mean, it was a music.
Right.
The lyrics were added later by
Mitchell Parrish.
Yes. And I could tell by singing that song, it was not written at the same time. That song goes everywhere.
It's a hard song. No, it's a hard song to sing. Yeah.
Da 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 da. Yeah, it just is.
Falls across the meadow of my mind. What a beautiful song that is. But that album, tell me about why you wanted to preserve those songs, because in many ways, that's what you're doing. And they are they're exquisitely rendered. I'm really upset that you haven't recorded more of that Great American Songbook, because it does suit you.
It does.
And your voice.
That is a calling, that style of music. I just wanted to sing them, and it was so many to choose from. The nearness, I mean, it's not the pale moon that excites me. You know,
thrills or delights me.
Oh, no. It's just the nearness of you.
Oh, my goodness. Now I get to sing with Crystal Gayle. Take me home, Lord. Okay.
But I love that that's where you can act in the songs. When I say acting, you can actually get into the lyrics.
Into that moment.
Yes.
Tell me about the album that you did of country classics, which is You Don't Know Me.
Yes.
And I love this album because Loretta and your sister Peggy Sue and you sing together on that album. What does that represent to you? Oh,
it was just an incredible time. And my sister, you know, through the years, we've been wanting to do an album, and we'd talk about it, we'd listen to songs. She said, we want to do a pop album. I said, no, let's do what we really know. And then she said, no, I want to do this. And it was just, but we just had fun. So we never really, you know, we just wanted to be sisters. So, but when I was doing this, I said, Loretta, will you do this song that we've sung on shows many times? So I had the track put down, and she came in. And if I'd had 10 tracks, she would have sung every one of them. If I'd had other songs, it was like, what's next? She was having so much fun, and I wish I had that thought that maybe she'd do a little bit more. But, you know, it was just great to be with her in the studio. And she's an incredible singer.
Oh,
I mean,
she was
one
an incredible
of the
singer.
best singers ever.
Well, there must be something in that gene pool, because I'll just say this. When you listen to Loretta, when she passed away, we were doing commemorations of her, and I pulled the early stuff, and then I pulled her last album. You remember, she re-recorded all the divorce and Coal Miner's Daughter. There's very little differentiation in the voice.
Yes.
I mean, the power of that voice is remarkable.
I know.
And I feel the same way when I listen to you. Do you think it's just genes?
It's something.
I'll say.
You know, you do what you love to do. And I've always said, though, when it's time for me to quit singing, I'll know it. You know, I don't want to be out there singing, and when I'm fighting all over the place, it's every song.
How will you know?
I'll hear it.
When you have trouble,
okay, that's it.
Well, you're not there yet, kid. Stay what you're doing. Who do you listen to now?
Oh, there's so many that I love. You know,
do you listen to?
I love
Are you like me? You
Wilson.
listen to mostly dead people or alive people?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
So Lainey Wilson.
I love her voice. You know, there's something that appeals to me. But I mean, there's so many that through the years that have, you know, and a bunch of new singers. Yeah. You know, Annie Bosco. You know, the names are. You know,
is it only country, or do you listen to folk? Do you listen to rock? Do you listen to?
I listen to it all. You know, as you know, the radio's usually on certain stations, and you listen, and there's some great singers out there, and I'll.
Okay.
I know, you know, like you're saying, Taylor Swift's great. I mean, I love her music. Shania, I love what she's done through the years.
They owe a lot of thanks to Crystal Gayle. That's all I'll say. Send your thank you cards, girls. Okay. There is a questionnaire I ask everybody who sits opposite me. This is the Arroyo Grande questionnaire. I don't want you to think about these. I just want whatever pops in the top of your head. Okay? It's not a quiz.
See if I have one.
You definitely have one. Who is the person you most admire?
Well, that is a hard one, though. It really is hard. You want the first one. You know, what came to my mind was my mother, and not really, you know, and she's not with us. You know, when my dad died, she's very strong. She stayed strong for the whole family. And the values, you know, I think of what would my mother do? That's where I go. It's not what someone else would do, but what would she do in a situation of just life.
And it sounds like, from what you told me, she really is the font of Your music and your sister's music, your
family.
Your brother's music, who still play with you, right? I mean, they're still from time to time, or they did. They were a band with you.
You know, we've lost all of my brothers,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
it's just the girls left now, and except, you know, we lost Loretta, Peggy and Betty and myself are the last of the sisters, and
You're holding the flag.
we're hanging in there.
Who's the person you most despise?
Well, gosh, I don't like to really despise anybody.
I'll take that answer. That's what I expected from Crystal Gayle.
Well, it's just, you know, why put your thoughts in a person that, you know, you might, and you know,
as someone told me the other day, there's too much hate in the world. I don't hate anybody.
There's too much hate.
And that's probably the right answer. But despite my provocative question, what's your best feature?
Oh, my best feature. Oh, my. Oh, let's see. Well, is it the hair?
That's one.
Or my eyes.
Eyes.
I get people talking about eyes, but my grandson, who is Bjorn, he's 5, and he looked at me the other day and says, yeah, why do you have angry eyebrows?
Oh, God.
And if you go on some of these memes on these shows, they have all these eyebrows. Well, the shape of my eyebrow is in there because the way it's shaped.
Yeah.
Angry eyebrow, but it's not. I thought it was hilarious.
So eyebrows are off the list of best
eyebrows
features.
are off the list now.
So we're up to eyes and hair. See, I would have thought your voice.
Oh, well, I never really.
That's not a bad feature.
You know, you always want the voice you don't have. You know, so.
What voice would you want if you couldn't have yours?
Well, you know, you always wanted the soprano. I've always been more the low, the bass, the alto. I always wanted more of a soprano, a high voice.
You know, isn't that weird? Every time I hear you, all I hear is your beautiful highs. That because the tone is a light tone. It's not a heavy tone. You don't bring the bass up with you when you get to those high notes. They're clear, beautiful. No, see, you got the soprano and you didn't know it. You had it. To us, to the people listening, you're already a soprano. What's your favorite book?
I don't think there's one favorite, other than if you want to go to, But as far as just picking up a book, and I could say my sister's, you know, Loretta, her biography.
Oh, that is a good
That's
biography.
A nice one.
That is a good biography. Wasn't there a movie made off of that? Yeah.
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah, it did kind of concern your family. That's a good answer, Crystal. What do you know that no one else knows?
Well, life is short. Life is turn around. What you thought you were going to do, take that trip, do those things you want to do, because you never know. Yeah. But I think a lot of people realize that. They just don't, you know, you got to go do it.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, life is, it's wonderful. And there's ups and downs. I always say, because, you know, you'll have dreams of growing up, you dream, this is what I want to do. But those dreams can change. Yeah. And you mold your life, and it might not be, you know, people want to be a singer, but I always look at, if you love people and life, whatever you do in life, you're going to do well with it. Whether it's waiting tables, whether it's being a nurse. My mother was a nurse. She loved it. My brothers worked in factories. I mean, they did a great job. My brother Junior worked in Chrysler. He didn't go to college, but who did they call to fix the machines? My brother, who could take them apart and put them back together if he wanted. So, you know, it was just, he loved it. Yeah. And he loved playing music, and he'd sing. You know, that's, you know, it was, he loved life. Yeah.
What do you fear?
I fear that I always want to take care of things before something happens. I'm one of those that...
A planner.
I like to think of what might happen if I do this. What road do I go down? It's just, you know, I want to take the safest route. You know, like I want to check out places if we travel, where we go. I fear just... you know, I just want to keep my family safe. I want to, maybe it's more for them than me. You know, I fear for other people. Yeah. You know.
Do you have a regret?
I'm sure I do, but I don't like to go there either, because it's like you can regret doing certain things, but you did the things you did.
And it took you to this point.
It took me to this point. And, whether, I didn't record a song or I did record a song or, you're going down your own road and you make those decisions at that moment. And to go back, I don't know what I'd do. Yeah. Maybe I'd make the same decision. At the same time, you would make the same decision. Yeah, and it might lead to the same road in the end. But so I try not to say, you don't look back in that way. You don't do that? You don't look back? My husband probably says I do. Every husband says you do, but that's a different, we all think that because, you know why? You all have these retentive memories, yes, and we're like a bag of stones. We remember nothing. So I've been married for 30 years. I know these things. The one thing I know is I do bring up things. So, about 10 at night. They don't want to hear it. Why did you say that? And what about this? I know this routine. Tell me, what is the best piece of advice Crystal Gayle ever received? I would say the advice, but I've gotten quite a few. I'll bet. The best would be when my sister told me to quit singing her songs, do a different style, go my own way, and just being myself, being true to myself. And I've always said I turned down more money because if I didn't like what they wanted me to, advertise, if it didn't, I did not want to be that person to tell someone else to do it, and I'm not going to do that, or use that shampoo, or eat that. It was not me. I wanted to. Oh, I'll bet you got more shampoo offers than anybody in the business. I did get a lot of shampoo offers. I'll bet. Katharine Hepburn would have bought it. Or you should have done a few extra of those. What happens when this is over, Crystal? When I put my feet up and sit back, if as far as touring and being a part of everything, when that is over, I'll look back on it and enjoy it. Well, you've given us a lot to enjoy over many years, and it goes on. And I hope people will go see you live because it's really special. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But guess what? My brown eyes have not turned blue, and I'm really upset about it. Thank you. Thank you for the interview and the beautiful music. You know what I love about Crystal Gayle? She found her own path despite the incredible trail blazed by her sister, and she ended up blazing her own trail for other women. She also had that internal sense of not only her music, but the values that defined her career. And the wonderful thing is Crystal Gayle is still touring. She's all over Texas, in Waco and Arlington. Then she's on to Kentucky, Alabama, Florida. Check out her website at crystalgayle.com for all the dates and the latest. You will be so happy you went to her show. And I hope you'll come back to Arroyo Grande soon. Why live a dry, constricted, narrow life when if you fill it with good things, it can flow into a broad, thriving Arroyo Grande. I'm Raymond Arroyo. Make sure you subscribe, like this episode, and look, my brown hat turned blue. Thanks for diving in. See you next time. Bye. Arroyo Grande is produced in partnership with iHeart Podcasts, DP Studios, and is available on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.